Well, I mean, my first question will be obviously to both of you. Bruce Willis, I mean, you've created 25 years ago the most iconic, popular cinematic hero of all times. And now he's back with a son. So I know his picture was in the first Die Hard, but then why did you have the idea of having your son in the fifth film of the franchise? And then Jay, what was the dynamics between the two of you? So Bruce Willis, let's hear you first.
I have found that there's been an ongoing family drama in just about every one of these films, from the first film with Holly Gennaro, and it seems to be a good thing to play against the spectacle of the movies and the explosions and car chases and the other random things that we have to do to each other. And Jai, who, if you don't know, he's from Australia and has a very strong Australian accent, but he showed up with a very excellent South Jersey accent and a South Jersey attitude, which fit in really well with Die Hard. So families, family conflict and how we work things out always helps along, and it helps tell a good family story.
Well, I mean, Jay, you came obviously then with a New Jersey attitude. Could you tell us about this and how you two work together? What's the dynamic between son and father here?
Certainly. Well, I think Bruce is right, and it's a wonderful juxtaposition to have the family element with the whole epic kind of action backdrop. And I don't know about rocking up with a South Jersey attitude, but whatever I did seemed to work, obviously. And look, it was a lot of fun going out there and working hard, and we had a good time together. And I think the dynamic between John and Jack was something they had to nail. It was it's somewhat of a buddy flick in a lot of ways, and you can't really. That doesn't really work if your two central characters are the same guy, So they have to complement each other, but there's they also have to kind of conflict and contrast, and that's where a lot of the tension and the comedy comes from, and some of the more intimate moments as well. So it's an interesting dynamic, but one that I think works and works perfectly against the against the backdrop of this large scale action stuff.
Question here, who has one? The mic? Oh, okay.
On va commencer parce qu'on parle de conflits familiaux, mais il y a aussi des conflits assez meurtriers, puisque le film est très mouvementé. Alors je voudrais savoir, à un moment, vous dites on va les tuer du cloporte. On va les tuer du cloporte. Est-ce que c'est, d'après vous, une métaphore du comportement de l'armée américaine dans les interventions à l'étranger?
Right, well, we're mentioning obviously conflicts, family conflicts, but also bigger background, as you said. And at one point, you say basically, go, let's kill. I don't know what is the term you used in American, but in French it means really like scumbags, sort of. Is that a metaphor for, let's say, the way that you think the Americans approached killing the enemy abroad? Loaded. Loaded, I agree. Well, this is France,
I've been answering questions like this for the last 25 years. My metaphor for these Die Hard movies is much more akin to a roller coaster ride. When you go on a roller coaster, you expect to have a sensation that at some point you might be thrown out of the car and have grievous bodily harm done to you. Especially when you go on the loop-de-loops, you would fall out of that and crash into the ground. What we try to do with the entertainment of the spectacle that's in Die Hard is give you the similar feeling that we're going to get hurt, that we're going to somehow be hurt by jumping off the 110th floor or the Hotel Ukraine ballroom, or being smashed up in cars for 17 minutes in the film. It really is about entertainment, and I'm sure that everybody here knows that if someone gets hurt in the film, or it looks like they get hurt in the film, that as soon as they say cut, everybody gets up and dusts themselves off.
Question. Quel micro? Ici.
J'ai vu que Bruce avait déjà évoqué la possibilité d'un sixième. Je voulais savoir s'il pouvait le confirmer, s'il y aurait la présence de Jay avec lui, et pourquoi il n'enregistre plus de disques. Dernière question.
All right. It seems you've already sort of announced that there would be a Die Hard 6, and in that case, will Jay be on board as your son? That's the first part of the question.
Well, I made up the first part of the question. I might as well continue with that. I just say this because somewhere I know there's someone here from Fox Films who wants to hear that they want to hear us and want to see us to another film. I think Jai and I would be the perfect guys to do another Die Hard. And I'm sure right now someone is calling Fox Films to try to slate this in for 2015.
So you're ready for it?
But don't count on it. We were just making it up. We were making up everything we did in this film from the time we started shooting, because we had to make up our whole backstory. We had to invent Jack's all the bad things Jack did as a child. One of the things that we said Jack did was that he set South Philadelphia on fire when he was 15 years old, and that he went away and he had to go away and do a stretch in the penitentiary, and so we just made all that up, and we were just making it up as we went along, but it seems lifelike.
Well, the second part of the question has to do with music. You, the musician, how come you haven't done any music to our sweet ears for a long time?
Well, I had chosen to take a little break from going out on the road with my band. I get to play with other bands now. That I get asked from time to time to sit in with the Allman Brothers. It was a band that I used to listen to when I was a kid, so I get to do that now. But I have a new baby now, and I'd rather stay home than go out.
Question. Quel micro? Ici.
Jacob, what did you feel when you were working with Bruce Willis? And Bruce Willis, what is your point of view about Jay Courtney?
It was a wonderful feeling being asked to go to work with Bruce. He's someone whose work I've admired for many years, and I've seen him in dozens of films, and namely the Die Hard franchise. So quite a surreal feeling, but one that I just fully embraced, and I just had to get ready, get prepared, and show up and try and do my job. And Bruce made it very easy to jump on board, not only with the family of the Die Hard films, but also with the McLeans. And I think he'd echo me in saying we just had a lot of fun doing it. It was it's a big part about making films. Sometimes they're hard and exhausting. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it can sometimes be a very tense environment. It's Hollywood's notorious for kind of blowing up what's at stake, really, and really we're not saving lives. We're out there creating entertainment, and we had a tremendous time doing so. It was a lot of fun.
It was a very nice summer. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys think that making a film like Die Hard, any one of them, let's just take this one, Die Hard 5, do you think that we worked really hard and it was really difficult to do? Yes, you think it is?
Yeah.
Should we
Tell
tell
us the truth.
It was a summer vacation. To understand what we do and what we did, you have to understand that the special effects teams are so technically adept now and such masters at what they do that they keep everyone safe. No one gets hurt. No one in those car crashes ever got hurt. I don't think we ever got hurt. I think I got a little scratch on my finger one time, and I think we had to shut down that afternoon so I could go get a little Superman Band-Aid on there. But it really is it's very safe, and it's a lot of fun, and it really satisfies the young guy, the young Bruce in there, and the young Jai of watching something get blown up. And it's just a guy thing, watching things explode and cars crash, and but we had a lot of fun. Summertime.
But what was maybe a bit tougher? Was it like the physical scenes, obviously, which are some amazing, or really the most emotional scenes, which is the first time I feel there's so much emotion because of the father-son relationship? What was the most interesting or toughest for you to interact in?
I think, look, it's a bit of both. The physical side of stuff, performing stunts, can on some days be, just like playtime, and it's, you're having fun, performing something, going down a slippery side, essentially, But, other days it can be a little exhausting, a little taxing. I mean, certainly what I find toughest about film is, repetition. And I know that sounds like a real... it's certainly nothing to complain about, but often you got to do things over and over and over and over and over and over again to get them right, and sometimes you don't. And I think what Bruce was touching on before about it just being like a summer vacation is the fact that we're lucky to be able to get up and do a job that we really love, and so in a lot of ways it isn't work. I mean, I honestly, there's no greater feeling than setting my alarm. Knowing that I got to get up and go to set the next day because I love my job. So I feel very fortunate to be able to do that. But talking about the challenging nature of things, I mean, the intimate stuff, sometimes that's really refreshing on a film set of this scale and kind of and nature. And it's great to be able to ground the crazy, epic explosions and all that sort of stuff with some more intimate scenes and more contained drama. So. I don't know that it's necessarily harder one way or the other, but it's great that we were able to explore different dimensions in this relationship.
Bonjour. Alors, j'ai une question pour Bruce. C'est le 5e Die Hard que vous tournez. Je voulais savoir qu'est-ce qui vous plaît dans le personnage de John McClane, de revenir comme ça régulièrement l'interpréter. Puis Jay, est-ce que c'est facile d'être le fils de John McClane, tout simplement?
Voilà. So the first part of the question is for you, Bruce. I mean, it's the 5th time you revisit your character, John McClane. What makes him so interesting to you? What new dimensions are you bringing the character each time, so to speak?
That's something that I do think about when I get ready to go back and do another one of these films. Is at the same time I would always like to make a film that's as good as the first film. Based on the storylines, it somehow always skews one way or the other, but I feel like I'm always competing with myself and competing with my younger self. And it's a very strange thing to be able to see myself over 25 years of work and see me trying to play this part at 31 and then again at 35 and then at I think 40 and now 57. And it's just an unusual thing to be able to stand back and see yourself do it and go, wow, I'm getting older. But I compete with myself. I try to keep the character as confused as he always has been. Because John McClane thinks that he knows everything, that he has the answer to everything, that he can solve everything, and really he's really clueless. And once he gets to Moscow, he is just in way over his head and doesn't have a clue as to how to help his son or any of those things. And he thinks that there really is just one way to do things, and that's his way. But I think everyone knows somebody like that, that knows someone who thinks that they have the answers to everything.
And Jay, the second part of the question was for you. I mean, how tough is it to be a McClane, to be playing actually John McClane's son?
I mean, look, it's not that tough at all, to be honest, and that's testament to the way I was welcomed aboard by Bruce and the rest of the team. John Moore, our director. There was a little you know, some little anxiety when I was cast in the role, and you know, you sort of, it's easy to get bogged down in the pressure of, you know, what this franchise means and the legacy it's going to leave behind and how iconic it is and the fans it has and what their expectations are and all that stuff. But none of that is, you know, is a constructive way to kind of approach a role. And I just, the sooner I let go of that, the better. It was just about going into this like I would with any other job, approaching the character like I would with any other character, and, you know, relying on my preparation and my instincts to show up and do a good job.
But in a way, is there what is the McLean in you, in your character, that you would recognize comes straight from your dad in the movie?
Well, you know, I mean, that's the thing. That's where a lot of the conflict is between these guys, is they think they're vastly different, but really it's, you know, there's similarities that kind of shine through. And Jack's a lot like that himself. You know, he thinks he can solve any situation and has the answer to things as well. It's just that he goes about it in a completely different way. And yeah, so it's those sort of contrasting styles that makes it interesting.
Question, quel micro? Oui.
Monsieur Willis, bonjour. Pas mal de vos collègues icônes de blockbuster ont un jour décidé ou éprouvé le besoin de passer derrière la caméra, de faire de la mise en scène. Pas vous. Et pour quelle raison? Pas envie?
Well, a lot of your sort of iconic stars in the States and worldwide have gone behind the camera. You never seem to wish to do so. Why? Or have you ever wished to be a director yourself?
It is the hardest job in filmmaking, to direct a film. You have to be the first one there. You have to be the last one out. You have to sweep up. You have to answer questions all day long. I think that actors have a much easier time just trying to figure out the relationships, especially in family relationships where there is you know, conflict that goes back over years. It really it doesn't appeal to me. I'd rather try to make things up and try to create things from someplace inside of me than trying to actually make the big picture.
Question.
Hello, my question is for Bruce. Did you take a special training for the movie because you look incredible? And so what is your secret?
Well, I don't have any secrets. I do the same workout routine most of the year, and when I did the first film, I was a lot younger, and all you have to do really is be strong enough to not have your bones break, just in case you fall over something, or fall off the roof of a building, or get smashed up in a car. But thank you very much for thinking that I look like I was in good shape. Yeah, it's just the camera's aimed at you. But thank you very much.
Question ici. Encore une question pour Monsieur Willis. Puisqu'il est question de relations familiales dans le film, j'aimerais savoir quel père êtes-vous dans la vie, plutôt cool ou plutôt sévère? Quelle valeur avez-vous essayé de transmettre à vos filles aînées en particulier? Et question subsidiaire, quel est pour vous le secret d'une famille recomposée réussie?
All right. So, first part of the question, obviously, the film, it's father and son relationship. In real life, it's more like daughter-father relationship, or rather daughter's-father relationship. What kind of dad are you? Are you the cool type, or are you the tough type, strict type?
Well, I don't think I'm very strict. I think if you had to put it into a category, I would say I'm a very bewildered father when it comes to having 4 daughters now. there's not a lot of things that I understand about the opposite sex in terms of what women really think. I hope to have raised young women who turn out to be nice people and courteous people. And I can tell you now that my 3 oldest daughters have great morals and great ethics and are kind to people, and they're nice and they're polite, and I couldn't be more proud of them. I don't know how much I can take responsibility for that, but they're great kids.
So that, I think, answers your value question. But the second part of the question was, well, how difficult, how easy, how successfully do you manage, like, to bring together all these women and to create peace everywhere? What's the secret?
Well, I think that women should be in charge of everything. I think my wife is in charge of everything. My kids are in charge of everything. They have been raised to have an opinion and to not let anyone ever talk them out of their opinion. They're smart, they're really sweet, and they have a great sense of humor, a really great sense of humor. They don't take things that seriously in life, and they all have good educations, and I'm very proud of them. I don't know what I've done or not done to help them be so cool. But they are very cool.
Question, oui, micro, ici.
Mr. Willis, what would you like to see happening to McClane in the end? And would you like to work with John McTiernan again for the last Die Hard?
What was the first part of it?
The first part is what would you like to see happening to John McClane in the end for his retirement?
Well, I'm sure there's a time when that is actually going to have to happen. That I don't know when that'll be. I'm sure it'll be when I can't run anymore, or whether I can't bounce up off the ground. I would certainly like to work with John McTiernan. He's going through his own personal problems right now, and I credit John McTiernan for setting the template for Die Hard and really showing how I was supposed to become an action guy, action star. But he's a great director.
Dernière question, last question for Libby, who has the mic, was this lady.
Bonjour. La question va se poser pour les 2 personnes. Je vais commencer par Bruce Willis. Ça fait très très longtemps qu'on ne vous a pas vu dans un film un petit peu plus psychologique et plus sombre. Vous avez enchaîné énormément de films d'action ces derniers temps, et Jay, vous êtes aussi un acteur d'action. Est-ce que des rôles plus profonds, plus difficiles, plus basés juste sur un scénario psychologique vous manquent, ou est-ce que vous vous éclatez surtout dans l'action?
Well, this is really a question for both of you. I mean, both of you have been really more into action films, it seems, rather than heavier, more psychological thrillers with, text and all that. Is it something that you miss, or do you actually have a ball playing action heroes?
I've certainly had a ball to date playing some action-heavy characters, or guys that are in that sort of zone. For me, it's, I guess, I haven't had a whole lot of choice yet. My career, I guess, if you will, has been a relatively short one. I'm really only just getting started. So, look, I just feel fortunate to have been given the opportunities I have. I guess, I don't know, say what you will about the kind of the material I've had the chance to work with. It's whether it's to do with strengths that I need to play to or whatever. It's just, as a young actor, you go through large periods of time where you'll take whatever you can get, in a sense. You just want to work, and I feel very fortunate to in the last sort of year and a bit worked on some extraordinary projects and things, you know, and with some extraordinary actors and filmmakers. So, you know, that's certainly been a wonderful thing, but it wasn't necessarily something that I calculated or planned out. And as far as the action stuff goes, look, it is a lot of fun. We do have a ball doing it, but you know, I think every actor wants to try and be as versatile as they can. You know, ask a guy who's always playing the doctor, I'm sure he'd like to, you know, jump out of a building one day. So it's about shaking it up whenever you can and just trying to, you know, mature and build upon your craft and your skills and try and stay inspired through the process.
So Bruce, last word's yours.
I wish I could tell you that I had a plan for my career, ever. And because of being asked numerous times over the last few weeks talking about Die Hard 5, and having now done 5 of these films, you would think that I would have much more to say about it and have some kind of map to show you, this is what I was thinking when that happened and when I did this film. But action movies, just by the nature of them, make more noise, literally, and also they make more noise for the studio, and they earn more money than smaller films, or than a lot of times independent films. Some films get more notice than other films do. I get to do a lot of things. I get to choose my own work. I get to choose which films I want to be in, and sometimes that is a really good thing, and sometimes I have 5 or 6 films that I wish I could take off the list, but I take responsibility for all of them. I chose them all. Just a couple of years ago, I got to work with a bunch of independent directors that I wanted to work with. Wes Anderson and Ryan Johnson, who directed Looper. And those films have made a lot of noise, and they kind of, you know, came out of that summer. Die Hard has always made a lot of noise, and it's always been a big, commercially viable film. And I think Fox has a lot of hope that both Jai and I will stay alive for a long, long time. And hopefully we'll be up on the moon someday with Die Hard 270.